I hate cooking, and the ironic thing about this is that I study nutrition and dietetics. So I think a lot of people often assume that I'm going to enjoy cooking and be a little culinary genius. I just don't like it. I don't understand how people find it cathartic and soothing or anything like that. But I'm still obviously very interested in health. I want to eat as healthy as possible. So here's some tips for any fellow friends out there that are similar to me that don't enjoy cooking but want to eat healthy. My first tip would be to embrace the raw foods. People often are cooking all their food all the time, and although cooking can release more nutrition in foods, it also can really decrease the nutrition in foods. Vitamin C is very sensitive to heat, and that is often decreased massively when you cook foods. I usually have a big bed of raw vegetables as the base of a lot of my meals, as a big salad base. Just chop a load of veg, bish bash bosh. Tomatoes, lettuce, cucumber, peppers, all of these things, you don't need to cook them. However, I'm not a raw foodist, I don't only eat raw, so my next tip is to use the pre-cooked stuff. Supermarkets are great, okay? They make life so much easier because they sell these things that are pre-cooked. You don't have to do it. I love tinned beans, and I don't even reheat them. Great protein source, they've been pre-cooked for you, they've done the dirty work. I'll just pour them over my salads. So beans are a huge one. I also buy a lot of cooked beetroot. They come in little packets because cooking up a whole beetroot, no thanks, but I love beetroot. Another good pre-cooked thing is boiled potatoes. Use canned potatoes. Everyone hates them. They're great. I don't know what the problem is. Same with tofu. So tofu you don't actually need to eat cooked. A lot of people think you have to cook tofu. You don't. I munch that shit raw all the time. I am not cooking tofu. I actually have a really nice brand at the moment from Lidl. They do a brand which is basil flavoured. They do a few flavours, but the basil one's the healthiest one. It's got no added sugars and oils and things. It's basically just got basil within the tofu, so it tastes nice, because I do agree that sometimes cooking tofu, it's quite good at absorbing whatever sauces you cook it in. So when you have it raw, it's a bit bland. But if you get a little flavoured tofu, really good. Or if not, just pour a bit of soy sauce on it. You don't need to cook it in it. You can also marinate tofu and sauce overnight. Tempeh is another one that I used to just avoid because I don't like cooking tempeh, and you do actually have to cook tempeh. It's unsafe to eat raw, unlike tofu. But Tiba Tempeh, shout out. Lidl now stocks them, and they do pre-cooked tempeh, and the soy marinated one is pretty clean ingredients again. I love tempeh, so delish, even higher in protein. And if you don't know what tempeh is, it's a soybean again like tofu, but it's been less processed. My next tip would be to utilise the frozen fruits and veg. People are sleeping on these. Frozen fruits and veg get a bad rep because they're frozen, and I think people think of frozen meals as like fish fingers or chips. But frozen stuff, it's literally the whole food. And oftentimes with vegetables, such as peas, they've been heated really briefly. And so you don't have to do any cooking. I just pour hot water over peas. Or you can thaw them overnight in the fridge. When I bring lunch with me to work or to study, I will oftentimes just add a load of frozen veg as the base and leave it in my fridge overnight. And it sort of just thaws naturally. Literally no cooking required. And that brings me on to my next point, which is to use the fridge for overnight things. So I'm explaining my overnight vegetables that I put in there, but the classic one that I haven't mentioned is overnight oats, which is a great breakfast. Literally just oats, a bit of plant milk or water, a load of berries. Again, I use frozen berries because they become fresh berries in the fridge overnight. Cinnamon, all this yummy stuff, protein powder if you wish, chia seeds, flax seeds, all that. Pop it in the fridge. No cooking, your breakfast is just there in the morning. If you don't want oats, you can just do the same with chia seeds. Make a chia pudding. The chia seeds will absorb the water and make it into this really nice thick pudding. And if you're thinking, I don't want that, I don't want cold oats, I want warm oats, don't you worry, mate. I just pour hot water over my oats. Everyone thinks I'm mental for doing this. It's literally fine, it's yummy. I'll get some oats, I'll boil a kettle, bit of flaxseed, bit of protein powder, whatever I'm feeling. Pour some hot water over it, and you've got hot porridge. And if it's a bit too hot, add a splash of soy milk on top. Easy peasy. So if you want some sort of meal ideas, that was some. Oats, either with hot water or overnight oats. Chia pudding. Smoothies, huge one. I love a smoothie. Banana, frozen berries, spinach is always great to put in a smoothie. Pack a load of nutrients in that. Again, you can add chia or flax, you can add peanut butter, you can add a protein powder. Yum. Another thing you can do is combine the two. I used to make a smoothie and then pour it over my oats, and it was like an oatmeal smoothie. Utilize the blender. I think the blender is great. Also, if you get a small blender, because a big part of why I don't like cooking is also because I really don't like washing up. So a little blender is always much easier to wash up than a big blender. And then in terms of lunches and dinners, as I say, I do a big base of raw vegetables. I'll thaw some frozen veg as well. So frozen peas, frozen broad beans, frozen broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, sweet corn, all that. Cucumber, pepper, pre-cooked beetroot, pre-cooked beans, all of this stuff. So easy. All I'm doing is chopping, opening tins, popping them in. In regards to my dressing, I'll keep it so simple, usually just 2 ingredients. A bit of hummus or tahini, and then a little bit of vinegar. I love balsamic vinegar. I don't even mix it separately in a bowl. I will just pour them both over the salad and mix it in. To stop you getting overwhelmed in the kitchen as well, I would say keep everything minimal. I only have a chopping board, a knife, a blender. I have 2 bowls, a fork, a knife, and a spoon. It's really minimal. Eat simple meals, eat repetitive meals. I'm not scared of processed stuff. Some things that are processed make life easier, such as potatoes in a tin, beans in a tin. They're all processed. They're still great. They're still making you eat healthier because they're so easy. I'd say with the beans in the tins as well, try and avoid the added salt to them. And yeah, if you also hate cooking and you eat healthy, comment your go-to really easy meal. Help each other out. Thanks for tuning in. I hope that helped, and I will catch you next time. Ciao, ciao.